So your picture might look something like this when you get ready to paint. Not very detailed. It's just kind of a starting point for most of the things there. So you're not getting very much, but you don't need much. But this is going to be for your orange flowers and your orange bush. So you're going to take your bad brush, which you will have in just a moment, and put it into this blockout product and just dot it where you think you want some blockout to be. If you notice in your photocopy, the blockout is going to be needed on the very, very light green. Look at the tree trunk, the big one. Look up at the top of it. See where the light green leaves are? That is blockout. Because if you try to paint light green over the dark brown, you're not going to like it. So put some drops of blockout for the leaves right there. And there's some more blockout at the top. And then let's take a look at your orange flowers. Do you see how the orange flowers are up and down? You can put blockout all along there. So we're going to make a puddle in your lid. Add some blue. And it's kind of a bright blue, probably. And it looks like mine. I have a pretty bright blue. And saturate your brush so that it's kind of full. Your blockout can be still drying because you're not going to be painting it right now, not yet. And then take your brush to this far right corner, right here where I am. I don't know if you can see this. And put your brush down. We're going to lay the brush down and not be up at the tip. We're going to lay it down and use the side of the brush. And we're going to paint the whole top. And as we run out of color, we'll be to that center where we are not supposed to paint. You see how I did that? So that will give you a center of interest that is bright white, and you don't have to worry about that anymore. So now that is the blue that's going to become your sky holes. If you got some blue where you didn't want, take your paper towel and blot it. And when I mean blot it, I mean put it down and lift up. Don't rub with the paper towel. But if you got blue where it didn't belong, take your towel, we just kind of touch it down like that and blot a little bit. All right, pay attention to the color that's right under this bluish green tree color, and you can see it's an olive green. The way we make olive green is red and green together. Red is the opposite of green, so red and green gives it a brownish tone. So don't put too much red in it, just a tiny bit of red. And you can use that same color that you already have mixed up and just add the tiniest bit of red to one portion of it, and you can see it becomes brown immediately. You want to sit in my chair? You can test what color you made on your paper towel and see if it's the color you wanted. I'm just going to paint right through my tree trunk that is on the far left, but I'm going to paint around my great big giant tree trunk that is in the middle, well, more to the middle. And again, we're using the tip of our brush to try and stay within our lines that we drew. And they're just guidelines, you know. Don't worry if you're falling a little behind, don't worry, it's not a race. Just finish the best you can. All right, the next layer, according to my eye, looks a little bit yellow-green. So in order to make that color, we just add yellow to the green that we already had, and it makes a really pretty yellow-green color, and we can paint that. So now after this lightest green, then we have this very, very pale green all of a sudden. This is kind of a bush right here. So you can make that, the next one is going to be a pale green. The way we do that is the same color you had, only more water. And you can have less pigment in your brush and a little bit more water. And it all of a sudden it makes a new color. And now we should be ready. If you're not ready, then it doesn't matter. You can still just paint different values of green all the way down, just so that each one is a little bit different. Mine looks like this so far, and I'm ready for the very, very brightest yellow green that's in this one, or this one. I can't tell. The lightest green that you're gonna do is the one that dips down like a smile. Remember we talked about that? So you can make the lightest green color that color.
By adding what to it?
Yellow.
Yellow.
You'll add yellow to it. If you add red to your green, it makes it olive. And if you add yellow, it makes it a yellow green.
Should we make it in lines like the grass shows?
Yes, you can make it in lines, like make your brush strokes go up and down, in other words. Yes. If you want to make some grass, the way we do that is using the tip of the brush. We just barely touch it to the paper and go up and down. See, like, watch me. See, this is the way we make the grass go up and down like that. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I'm ready for the bottom row. So we're gonna do that by painting we paint light to dark here because this bottom row, you'll notice, has several shades of green in the same layer. So we're gonna paint a medium green with a darker on top and then finally black. So you can paint a medium green. And then it's gonna have a dark green and then black. This is my medium green that I have at the bottom. I'm gonna paint a darker green on top of that right now, and the darker green is gonna be the two weeds that points to the center of interest. We can make it dark by adding any dark color. You don't always have to use red. You could even use purple, brown, black, any dark color you wish. But it should be a dark green color, and you can test that on your paper towel. Mine is testing to be this color right here for the darker green. Did you see what color I made of dark green? Test like that. And I'm only drawing that color in with my tip of my brush in where I want the weeds and kind of some grass to be. So here's where I put my darker green over the top of my medium green, and now I'm going to put black in a few places. When you have that done, we're going to start on our large tree trunk. And in your photocopy, it looks kind of bluish gray, but look at the book over here of the actual book. The colors are a little different. So you can see that in the book, there's a little bit more brown to it. So we're going to paint the large tree and really the other two trees as well. We're just going to paint some of the trunk and some of the branches. Then we use the doily on the leaves, and that is going to be fun. So mix up a color that you like for the tree trunk, and you can experiment and play with all the colors that are left over in your palette and just have fun with that. I'm going to use all of the colors that I had, and I'm going to mix brown into there, and it made a kind of a darkish gray. And I'm gonna go ahead and paint my large tree trunk that color. And its little arm that came up. Now this is only the first layer of brown, so remember we can add darker. We will be darkening all these colors. But I'm going to start with the first layer of kind of a lightish brown. And some of the trunks, some of the branches. The tiniest branches that are in the center of the picture, see how tiny they are, like little sticks and twigs? I'll save those for the last, because that is the center of interest and we want to do that carefully. I'm going to use the same color I had before, only now I'm adding more intense pigment and less water to make it a little darker. And I'm going to go up one side and at the bottom and one side of the middle piece. So it should look something like this by the time you get going. That you have the shadow, remember we talked about the tree trunk has a little bit of a darker shadow on one side because the light is coming from this side, making a shadow on the other side. So if you would add this little detail of that dark shadow, it makes the tree trunk look not quite so flat of being one color. And then you can go in with black and put a little bit of texture in there. Next is going to be the leaves of the tree. The tiny branches, as I was saying in the middle, we're going to wait until the very end for these tiny branches. That's kind of at the last. The tiny branches in the middle, we'll do that last. So now you can go to the final stage on your branches. We're almost ready to take off our gooey goo that we put on. We're going to finish off the tiny branches that are in the center of interest. And to do that, we're going to use your tiny brush. I like to support my hand like this so that I don't have just my arm out, but I can use a little support to help me steady my hand, because you don't want the brush to all of a sudden go down. If you're using the tip of your brush, you want to stay at the very tip of your brush. And so you can sort of support your hand that way and have in mind kind of a general direction that you're going to go. I'm going to make that branch that's coming out from this center one, and it's going down to, it's pointing right at the orange bush. So it kind of goes up like this, and then it goes crooked down like this, and it goes over, and then it points right to the orange bush. Just like that. Did you see that? The tiny branch that's like a stick that points to that center of interest, and it looks kind of lonely to be Bob Ross with you, Bob Marcia. So we're going to put another little stick there, and now we have to put lots of sticks because we like it. And we are going to put lots and lots of little twiggy sticks growing up there.
What color are you using on there? Just the brown?
I used black and brown together, and if that wasn't enough, I put a little blue into it. It looks black, but it's not truly only black. And you'll see that these sticks do not grow straight and even, not like the bars on a jail cell, but instead they're crisscrossy and make X's all over and go up and then down. One of them even starts in the middle of the tree. When you get enough of those in to make you happy, then you can start to take off your sticky goo. The way we take that off is with our fingers, and so you have to have a dry, you can't take it off if your area is wet. But down on the bottom in the foreground where we haven't painted for a little while, you just rub that with your finger like this, and it peels right up. Kind of like rubber cement, and it makes crumbs that you can take off. And that is just fun also. I have some of that gooey stuff up in my tree, which is in the branches, so I'm gonna wait and take that off after I get done with the orange flowers, because I don't want the goo to go into my branches that I just put in. Go ahead and take that off, and then you can paint your flowers in. And once your tree is dry and all your leaves are dry up in the tree part, if you have any goo up in there, which I do, you can take that off whenever you want to. And just try to do it carefully so you don't smear your tiny branches that are delicate.